Hello po. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening po. I actually created this video on behalf of request of Mr. Tirso Martires po. He called me yesterday and he wanted me to present itong coconut facility. It's a coconut husk that we will be converting it into peat at saka grow bag, no? So this is a 100,000 husk per day na machine that we will be putting up in the near future somewhere in Camarines Sur, no? In this case kasi, I believe Camarines Sur Multipurpose Cooperative, which is the CEO is Miss Yutisa Nakadag, and the co-founder, Mr. Ernest Abaragan. Actually, this is specific for you to understand itong business solutions that is being introduced by Eco Nexus International. No? It's a Singaporean-based company and an offshoot of the parent company in Bangalore sa India, which was established in 1991. So more or less, nasa 30 plus years old na po yung parent company. No? So basically, last few years back, uh, one of the owner, the CEO, lady CEO, called me. So I'll just have to um, give a brief background po, no. But before that, let me introduce myself. No, my name is Jeremy. You can call me Jem. I'm actually an owner of a two business. One of which is yung GLSM EBC at saka isa naman is si Mate Plus. So basically, there are two different company. One of which is designed to help mga micro and small business owners who would want to set up their own company. No, and the other one naman, Mate Plus, is basically designed naman for those companies who would aspire to sell their product and services outside the Philippines naman. So, two different market talaga po yun, no? Also, I'm also how do you call this, a mentor of the International Trade Center for trade export. So later I'll expand all about this, yung aking ginagawa po, no? So, my advocacy really is to help entrepreneurs, mga business owners, to understand yung pinaka-purpose nila in life, no? So, the reason for being po nila. And most of the time, through the framework of the TAC Pinoy RA 11981, ito po yung ina-evangelize ko sila. And of course, anything that to do with their export readiness. So yun po yung aking ginagawa. No? So just to give a brief background, I was again hired by International Trade Center as a mentor. Ito po yung ginawa namin noong August few years back, no, 2 years ago, wherein International Trade Center is a joint mandate ng World Trade Organization and the United Nation to, no? So gumawa sila ng isang group which is called IDC. So ito naman yung basically trying to help all the nation, all the countries that would want to explore exporting. So in partnership with Google, WIPO, they had this digital export enablement program. So it was designed really for aspiring exporters. So this picture is taken in the Google office. So, and my co-mentor, actually si Miguel, invited me as well to be a resource speaker sa Young Entrepreneur. No? It's an online community, which is, of course, the youth community entrepreneurs ng ITC as well. So sabi niya, Jem, ito naman, sabi niya, come and let's teach them about the international tools. No? So, sabi ko sa kanya, more than willing ako to share my knowledge and skills. No? So they invited me here. So, ang nangyari, along the way, so I posted everything. So, ang maganda sa social media is that my previous employer actually seen me, my previous tawag dito, boss sa HP, Hewlett Packard, the print and PC manufacturer. No? It's a international company. Wherein sabi niya, Jem, we noticed that you are into the exporting na pala. Sabi niya, yes, yes, yes. So 4 years back, nag-resign ako at gusto kong mag-set up ng sarili kong business. So I set up this GLSM EBC, and then of course yung isa pa, which is the Export Mate. So sabi niya, Jem, we have a proposition, sabi niya. So the lady CEO, if you were to look at the lady in the yung naka-red, si Mohan, yung isa sa mga co-founder ng Econexus, si Mohan. So they are based in Singapore. Yung headquarters ng Econexus is in Singapore, and then they're expanding, no? They're helping yung parent company nila, which is based in India, to expand across Asia. So yun po, and then tinawagan nila ako, sabi niya, Jeremy, um, since you are into export and we are actually expanding, so we wanted to actually tell you na if possible ba na mag-expand kami sa Philippines through your help. So sabi ko sa kanya, but before that, ano ba meron dyan sa business na nasa isip niyo? Sabi niya, well, in Tamil Nadu kasi, we are known already for as an industry of coir. Sabi niya, so marami nang natulungan yung company namin wherein together with the government, marami na kaming nagawa. So we are really expanding already outside India, sabi niya. So, ang maganda dito, sabi niya, is that our forefathers are actually the pioneers in this industry, sabi niya. So, ang asawa ko, sabi niya, yung pamilya nila, so sila yung directly na gumagawa ng mga equipment for this specific, sabi niya sa akin. So okay, so sabi ko sa kanya, so what is specifically the market that you are looking for? So sabi niya, so we're really looking to help directly yung mga coconut farmers. Sabi ko sa kanya, oh, in the Philippines, maraming coconut farmers, particularly in Bisaya, kako sa kanya going down to the Mindanao. Marami dito. Yeah, we know it. We had a research wherein we are actually choosing between Indonesia at Philippines to expand, sabi niya. So, ang maganda kasi, sabi niya, is that we wanted to expand priority namin in the Philippines is because English is your second language. Unlike doon sa Indonesia, wala kaming choice kundi convert into bahasa yung mga contracts and the rest of the pitch text daw nila. Sabi ko, so okay. Pero ito bang dinadala nyo is in particular kako sa kanya, gaano ba kalaki itong investment? So sabi ko sa kanya, well, medyo malaki, sabi niya. So naku, kung malaki ito, kung most of the farmers dito are normally talagang sabihin na nating um, kailangan nila ng suporta ng gobyerno para mag-put up ng mga business na malalaki ako sa kanya. Or pwede naman tayong dumirekta sa co-op or LGU. So sabi niya, sige, well, we'll follow your advice. So just let us somehow penetrate kung sino-sino yung mga cooperative na pwede nating matulungan. So me, being in the International Trade Center, syempre, nagtuturo ako kung paano gamitin yung tools wherein helping the Filipinos expand outside the Philippines with their products. So syempre, sabi ko, ano ba yung produkto natin? Sabi niya, yung produkto natin kasi is that the coconut husk, we will process it at ang magiging byproduct niya, first byproduct niya will be the coco peat at saka yung grow bag, sabi niya. Okay, so anong meron sa coco peat na yan? So basically ito marami itong use and the market demand is really high, sabi niya. So siyempre, ako naman nag-research. So as of 2024, there is around 110 million tons per year na yung demand. So particularly China, US, UK, Netherlands at Nigeria ngayon yung nagli-lead na nangangailangan ng coco peat, no? So being said that, marami pa talaga yung demand worldwide. So kulang na kulang yung supply. The other one is the grow bag. This is a combination of the coco peat and the coco fiber. They will have this simple mixture and then magiging grow bag po siya. So dito naman, there's an additional 616,000 metric tons na kailangan ng worldwide. And in fact, both of these byproduct actually has an average of 5% per annum na nag increase siya. So palaki ng palaki yung demand. So what are the countries that are importing this grow bag? Ngayon, si Vietnam. Mapapansin natin yung mga TikTok, di ba? So they're elevating yung kanilang cropping. Hindi na sila gumagamit ng soil, but rather they're just using the area and then they'll putting up a vertical farming na. So yun po yung uso ngayon. So Germany, Spain, Australia, and Russia are now highly in demand ngayon tong grow bag. Okay? So because of the growing population, and at the same time, they wanted to have a more productive way on growing yung kanilang efficient and productive way of growing yung kanilang high value crops. So sabi ko, so ano naman na yung research nyo about the Philippines? Sabi niya, we had a research which was we had went to PCA, sabi niya, and we had to gather an initial information. So, ang sabi niya sa akin is that Philippines are actually producing around 15 billion coconut fruits na. So, marami-rami na talaga. And particularly 80% of those 15 billion fruits are actually used in copra. So, 80% daw. While the other component ng fruit na yon is into the 20% is into the charcoal, peat, textile, so mga other byproduct niya. So, sabi ko, have we gone through PCA? So, sabi ko, hindi, sabi nila, hindi pa. So, let's go. So, when they visited the last year, when they visited the Philippines, so sabi ko, sige, let's go and check with PCA. So, yung mga data na ipapresent ko mamaya, that's a statistics of around, noong 2023 na nakuha namin. Ang minor correction na lang ng ating PCA, sabi niya, itong uh, 20% na to, sabi niya, yung mga coco peat, activated charcoal, sabi niya, nung pre-COVID, medyo nandyan na tayo sa state of that percentage, sabi niya. That's a pre-COVID. But during the COVID, sabi niya, since yung mga machine medyo hindi nagamit, so unfortunately, nagkasira-sira. So, nangyari noon, sabi niya, so bumagsak ngayon. So, at that time when we went there, after the COVID, sabi niya, is around mga 7 to 8% na lang ang yung industry. Kumbaga, down to 7% from 20% na yung kanyang gumagamit. So, sabi namin, naku, kawawa naman ng mga yung nag-invest ng mga machineries na yon. So, of course, they have told us yung mga challenges ng mga cooperative. So, they in fact told us that there are some cooperative na literally nagsara yung business nila dahil doon sa nangyaring yun. Okay, so it was really sad story. So sabi ko sa kanya, so what we are bringing into the table is basically si Econexus is bringing in a business solutions rather than a supply and deliver type. So hindi po sila ganon. So ang nangyayari ngayon is that they will provide the machines and then they will make sure na yung ROI natin as a business bumalik within a certain period of time. So ang kailangan nga lang niya is basically the machine has to be from their side so that they are guaranteed with the quality. Hindi kasi siya pwedeng iba-ibang machine, tapos bibili nila yung end product na. So the good news with this one is that they're the one who's going to buy na immediately whatever yung end product ng ating produkto. So that's the good news is that we can actually relax, focus on productivity natin and efficiency ng location, okay, ng mga supplies, at sila naman ang yung magma-market na. So meaning to say, lahat ng lalabas doon po sa machine na yon ay guaranteed na meron ng buyback. So it really depends, no? So normally ang quota nila per facility is 200 tons per month. That's a minimum. It can go as high as 300 depending sa magiging arrangement natin, no? With them. So basically that's the idea. Saan pumupunta yung coco peat at saka coco fiber. So yung fiber, so marami siyang use. So mga horticulture, construction, dyan pumupunta. In fact, including automation. Yun namang coco peat, it's basically in-import yun kasi most of the time, mga pharmaceutical companies naman at saka fertilizer companies ang bumibili nun because they're mixing some organic fertilizer. So yun po yung nangyayari. And then of course, yung charcoal. ginagawa po siyang activated charcoal at marami pong industry ang nangangailangan because of that attributes nung charcoal natin, no? Yung activated charcoal natin. Maganda po siya. So, ano yung scope ni Econexus through GLSM EBC? So, we wanted to partner with the LGU, cooperative, or particularly any enterprising organization who would be interested of doing a collaborative effort, a partnership where we will build the machine, and then the cooperative, the LGU, or the private enterprising would manage, and then yung end product na, yung finished good, is basically iba-buyback ni Econexus para siya na ang mag-supply sa mundo. Okay, so basically yun yung gusto niya mangyari. And at the same time, we wanted to, of course, value add doon sa supply chain yung additional revenue sources ng mga cooperative na potential na for export naman this time. Of course, we wanted to support the sustainability development goal kasi ganun din naman si Econexus. They are into that PPP, people, planet, and profit. So basically, you have to take care of your people so that they will also in return protect the planet, and at the same time make money out of that resources na natin na kukunin natin, which is yung coconut husk, which is basura na gagawin nating pagkakapera. So let me run through you. Just imagine in a day in a processing facility, no? So yung mga cooperative will basically earn as much as $1,000 for 100,000 husks. So they'll have to every day po to. So just imagine, no? So you can deliver 100,000 husks to the facility, no? So doon sa loob ng facility naman with a joint venture is that this machine will produce a minimum of 20 ton, no? So it really depends on the side natin kung paano natin siya i-arrange, no? So there are 3 criteria. So later na i-expand natin kung paano mag-select ng facility. So apart from that, Econexus is actually committed to provide 9 trees per day. So that's roughly around 2,500 coconut seedlings para i-replant yung coconut trees, no? And it has a minimum of 25 to a maximum of 40 depende sa natin, sa shift natin. It can go up to 40 na permanent employee para mag-operate ng machine. Okay? And roughly there is around minimum of $3,000 per day na nagiging revenue ng facility natin if you're going to operate and of course invest into this industry. So again, so ang kailangan natin is basically this is an add-on revenue ng mga farmers natin. What we will be needing is yung coconut husk lang. Yung husk kasi is basically gagawin natin siyang peat at saka yung fiber. And then yung shell naman is gagawin natin siyang charcoal. So basically ito lang yung basic na gagawin natin. And this is basically the idea, no? So na panggagamitan natin. Okay, so roughly ano ba yung magiging farm gate price natin? We have done our research and immediately, no? So nakita na namin, it really depends on the region. It ranges from a 0.3 to 0.6, no? Itong buy price nila. It really depends on the size as well. So yung kailangan lang natin is a minimum of at least a 300 gram per husk, no? So there are many ways naman on how to measure it, no? So doon naman sa international market, nagre-range na kasi siya ng 15 to 16 pesos per kilo yung coco block, no, yung coco peat block natin. And then yung grow bag naman, it can sell to 23 to 24. While the charcoal naman ranges from 18 to 22 per kilo naman yung activated charcoal. So roughly kung titignan mo, there is a potentially we are converting the coconut husk into a $1 economy per husk, no? So from that waste, meron pa tayong additional revenue out of it. Okay? So that's basically the process, no? So what we were going to do, no, just in case that you are interested, yung business operating model kasi ni Econexus is basically it's a direct sila doon sa mismong funder. So si funder kasi is basically the one who owns the machine, no? So yun yung magiging kanya is that they will work closely with the funder, no? So if you're the funder, cooperative, private enterprise, kayo yung funder, then all you have to do is yung product awareness lang. These are just the campaigns that the cooperative or the private enterprising that will do, no? While EcoNexus naman will help you build the business case, the business solution. Of course, they will provide a success management manager that will man for the next 5 years yung facility. Kasi again, ito ay hindi ito supply and deliver lang. It's a business solutions kasi this guy would actually has to measure one is yung governance, pangalawa is to make sure na yung output and quality is there, and of course yung post-sale support niya. If something happens to the machine, kailangan immediately magawa ng paraan kasi hindi pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng downtime during the period na naka-cover siya within the maintenance and support natin nila with these machines, no? And of course, we can actually work with the LGU naman, yung just in case lang. Why LGU? We can help with the LGU to increase their revenue, no? Yung municipality revenue nila. So makakatulong tong facility na to lumaki yung industry ng coconut doon sa area nila. So ito po yung mga possible na gagawin natin. So ang advantage with this one is that, like I said, like I mentioned a while ago, meron po siyang buyback. So automatically, hindi na natin problemahin yung market kasi immediately may buyer na tayo. So the question now is that if you're needing a 100,000 has a day, Jeremy, so paano yung computation nito? So by default is that we are aligned with the CDA, PCA number of trees, no? It's 143 coconut trees per hectare. So which is sabihin na natin yung pinaka-low conservative is yung isang coconut bearing tree natin is nasa 40, which is alam naman natin na pumapatak yan ng 80, 60, 100 coconut fruit per tree, pero naglagay lang tayo doon sa conservative. Pumunta lang tayo doon sa conservative due to whatever seasonality, di ba? So doon sa isang hektarya, it can actually produce around 5,720 fruits, no? So since we need 28 million, that's 100,000 has times 280 days, that will be 28 million. So more or less, kailangan natin ng roughly 4.895 thousand hectares just to make sure na meron tayong ample supply for this specific project natin. No? So we need at least roughly sabihin na natin 4,895. Okay? So ngayon, ang Camarines Sur, the good news with Pili is basically maganda nito is that 12,625 hectares siya. So kung titignan mo, kayang-kaya. While Camarines Sur basically has around sabihin na natin 7.6 million bearing. Ito yung galing kay galing ito kay PCA, which is data nila as of 2023, yung data na to. So sabihin na natin na lumaki yung coconut bearing trees nila, but in that statistics, 7.6 million bearing trees naman ang buong Camarines Sur. So more or less, wala tayong problema dahil kailangan lang naman natin is roughly 4.9 hectares of around 143 trees ang kailangan natin. So more than enough po ang Camarines Sur if you're going to plan to put it up. So let's go to the business model funding. So we have three specific funding po, no? One of which is yung LGU funded or cooperative funded. So utang sila sa bangko, sila yung magiging fund. And then meron naman tayong isa pa wherein a local funder naman, external. So mga private investors pupunta, venture capitalists, angel investors. So sila po yung magpopondo niyan. And the other model, the third one is basically international funding naman. So EcoNexus in some cases pwedeng mag-invite ng international funder from different countries like India na pwedeng pumunta dito. So yan po yung three funding model natin. And the question now is that who owns the profit, di ba? At the end of the day, it is really the funder. So kung ang cooperative, business funding model 1 tayo, by default, si cooperative ang may-ari ng profit, no? Doon naman sa number 2, sino may-ari at sino ang mag-gain doon sa profit? By default is the local funder. In the same manner, kapag international funder, international funders yung may kumikita. So we are just working for them, so to say, no? So we have a different model wherein if you wanted to move forward as a private investor or a cooperative funded, ito po yung magiging setup natin. So we just have to make sure na we initiate the intention na gusto nyo talaga. And ito na po yung sinasabi ko kay Mr. Ernie kahapon na hindi kami nasa supply and deliver lang na ibibigay namin yung machine ng presyo and then kayo nang bahala. Hindi po ganun ang laro namin. Ang laro po namin is making sure na kikita ka ba talaga. One of which is may capacity ba talaga ang cooperative na or federation na mag-produce ng 100 hash per day. Kasi we will be doing this, imagine, for the next 10 years. Okay, so 280 days per year na ginagawa natin for the next 10 years itong ginagawin natin. So kailangan talaga consistent, sustainable yung ating raw material. Pangalawa is yung land. We have to make sure that land, ang minimum na stay natin doon is 10 years kasi malaking machine po to. Hindi po siya pwedeng ilipat basta-basta. Hindi po siya naililipat, no? So, in short, kailangan sigurado tayo dun sa location, no? So, yung location, of course, there is a criteria. First criteria natin is basically road access. So, dapat meron siyang spalto or malapit lang siya sa national highway. Bakit ganun ang criteria? Kasi every day, just imagine, there will be around, sabihin na natin yung mga sasakyan, an ELF would be carrying around 20,000 hash per, roughly 20,000 hash per vehicle. So we need 100,000. That will be every day. May 5 ELF dumadaan, no? Papunta doon sa facility. Pangalawa, we need of course electricity kasi kailangan natin itong machine is run by electricity. We also need water. So ample supply of water because doon sa pit, binababa natin yung pH and EC level niya. So we need a water to actually lower it. No? So we need water. Pangalawa, access to skilled people and semi-skilled people. So dito wala na tayong problema kasi kung ang LGU driven to or co driven, wala tayong problema kasi marami siyang members na pwedeng maging empleyado na natin. Okay. Pangalawa is the raw material, of course. Dapat meron tayong radius of 10,000 kilometers per facility. Yung po yung kanya, sabihin na nating area, scope niya, kung saan niya kukunin yung mga supplies niya ng raw material. So 10,000 kilometers radius po yung titignan natin. And then lastly is kailangan malapit siya sa international seaport. Bakit, Jeremy? Kasi po, FOB, nearest international seaport po ang PO sa atin ni Econexus. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Free on board. Meaning to say, we need to bring the finished good from a facility to the nearest seaport at kailangan pick upin nung crane papunta sa kanyang ship. Yun po yung finish line natin. So, siya po ang huhugot, no, nakapaleta, lalagay niya doon sa ship niya. Yun na po yung finish line natin. So, ibig sabihin nun, we have to make sure na malapit tayo sa international seaport yung facility. No? Isa po yun yung criteria natin. So, those two minimum requirements, which is the supply of raw material, kailangan sigurado tayo. Pangalawa is the land itself. We need to have at least 10 years minimum doon sa area na yon. And then we can now sign up a MOA. Okay, hindi pa naman po ito commitment, but the MOA signifies our intention to move forward with this project. No? So, on these two criteria kasi, the raw material and the land, pag ibigay nyo sa amin yon, is makakapag-compute na tayo ng roughly kung ano yung return of investment nitong kanya to. Maibibigay na namin yung roughly ang capex ninyo and roughly magkano naman yung estimated budget for the OPEX natin. So makikita na natin ngayon kung ano na ngayon yung magiging ROI mo, no? So that is very important for this specific project. Okay? So once na nagkaroon na ng MOA, Econexus will provide the design and then i-build na po natin, so forth. So I would not talk too much about our process, but if you're interested, we can have that, no? So this is the private and the co-op led. Pero what if naman international funding? So ganito lang po siya kasimple ang gagawin natin. So dalawa lang yung layer na mangyayari. So Econexus and the private entity, sila po yung nag-uusap, while dito na sa manufacturer and private investor, sila naman yung nag-uusap. So basically, yun yung magiging setup nito, mangyayari nito. Kasi syempre yung investor will purchase the machine from the investor will purchase the machine from the manufacturer. Okay? So now the question is, ano ba yung next move natin, Jeremy? So exciting, no? So potentially ito nga, no? So what we need, like I mentioned a while ago, is yung raw material. We'll have to make sure that merong consistency of supplying for the next 10 years, 100,000 husks per day ang kailangan natin. And then of course yung land, we need to make sure na may establish natin yon. So ang minimum requirements natin ng land is 1 hectare. So imagine sa 1 hectare, 1/3 of it is papunta doon sa stockpile natin for the day-to-day inventory natin. Sa second 1/3 naman is ito yung mismong actual build-up na, wherein doon naman ilalagay yung machine. Siyempre, kailangan natin protektahan for the weather, no? Change of weather. And then the third part of that area is for the storage naman, yung warehouse. So doon natin siya ilalagay. So there's another build-up. Kasi by default yung finished good, after na kasi, on the day itself kasi, finished good na siya, export quality na siya. So, kailangan natin nga lang siyang itago kaagad-agad kasi bawal siyang mabasa, otherwise mag-expand siya. So, just in case. And of course, we need to make sure naman yung investor has to have a return of investment. No? So, if they wanted to check yung mga facilities, Econexus is more than willing to accommodate them, no? Pagpunta doon sa India at ipakita yung mga different of course, expense ng cooperative or the private entity yung pagpunta sa India. But they have the facilities to tour around. So wala nang problema sa accommodation and transportation mo around that area, no? Para ipakita nila yung facility sa inyo. Okay, again, wala pa pong i-set up sa Philippines. We had just introduced this. We started late 2023 and then 2024 and now is 2025. So practically, this is a high ticket value investment. So talagang matagal po talaga yung sales cycle nito or project management cycle nito. But these are the things that you would imagine sa end of the day, no? So we will have a 5 kilogram coco peat and there are grow bags na nakapackage na siya base doon sa user nung grow bag. Kasi horticulture or vertical farming kasi may specific sizes na sila para i-accommodate yung high value crop nila. No? So naka-pre-design po yan. Okay? So just to give you probably an idea, ano ba yung itsura? So ito po yan, no? Conveyor type siya. Of course, everyday yan. Tinanggal ko yung cover niyan just to emphasize yung ano itsura. But literally dapat yan naka-cover siya by default, no? So hindi na dapat siya nakikita. Pero para lang ma-video, tinanggal nila yung cover. No? So yan na. So first setup, maraming 100,000 hash yun per day. Kakainin ng machine, i-churn siya. So basically, ganyan ang mangyayari. Okay. On that specific, these are just a sample of what is happening, no? So mapapansin yung dulo, tinanggal lang yung cover niyan, pero gusto lang nilang emphasize na doon nagda-drop ngayon yung no? So na-separate bigla. Mapansin nyo, no? Pakuhas kanina, and then mapapansin nyo, fiber na lang yung taas. Saan napunta yung napunta yung coco peat? So later, na-drop siya. Nasa sa second floor, lower ground. Diba? So bumagsak siya sa lower ground, no? So yan po yung fiber, no, conveyor. So this is just a video, a sample of one of the facility in India, no. So let me repeat, wala pa hong facility sa Philippines na i-set up ang Econexus, no. So they are expanding pa lang po across Asia. So if you wanted to have the actual look and feel, doon po tayo pupunta sa India para i-tour nila kayo doon sa facilities. Okay, so that's basically a sample, one example nung nangyayari doon sa loob ng can. So, ganyan po, i-mix, talagang thoroughly, tinatanggal yung dust, lahat, no? Sineseparate nila. So, again, ito po ay isa sa mga ginawa nilang customize. Hindi po siya plug and play, no? So, it really customized base sa area nung location natin. Kung yung area natin is rectangular, so yung facility has to have a rectangular design built up. Kung square naman yung location natin, more or less yung machine build up natin, medyo squarish din na yung design niya. So, yung pong sinasabi nila na, Jeremy, can you give us a proposal, quotation? Hindi po siya ganun kasimple. Ang prerequisite natin dito is we need to have the vicinity map with the coordinates, exact coordinates po ha. Ito po yung may mga degree, north, east, south na degree po. Kailangan natin yung exact dimension. Kasi we cannot just estimate, provide you a proposal na hindi natin alam kung saan siya ilalagay kasi magbabase po yung bill of material doon po sa location. So that is a mandatory po. No? So again, let me discourage you to asking me a commercial proposal or ask a commercial proposal before identifying the location. Wala pong ganon. Hindi po kami nasa supply and delivery. So mapapansin niyo yung day-to-day inventory po nila kung gaano karami yun, no? So let me go to the other side naman po. So this one naman is basically the coco pit, no? So again, this is just sample of some of the we have set up. So again, in the Philippines, we can, of course, definitely we can improve. We can provide trainings on how to properly take care of the machine, how to operate properly, and making sure na yung mga tasks na yan, na ibabalik natin or na nare-recycle siya, things like that. So, ayan naman yung coco pit, no? So, it's basically producing roughly 0.4 per hour of 400 kilogram, no? Yung kanyang, 6 tons naman ang coco pit, no? So, 1 ton per hour. Okay. So, ito naman, just in case lang that we have to innovate, no? So, yung mga nag-ahas na maraming tao, alam naman natin na limited yung capacity ng tao to 1,000 hash per day. Ito naman, 12,000 hash per day nga lang. Okay, so in an 8 hour, 12,000 na kaagad-agad yung na-churn natin. Okay, so na-produce natin coconut hash, no? So, yan, mapapansin niyo yung coconut hash, yan, hinihila-hila lang niya. Diba? So, sinesegregate nila. So, immediately, there are other people. A minimum of 2 operator lang po to. Not necessarily na 4-5 sila. But then again, syempre yung mga coconut members, coconut farmers natin, yung mga members natin, can actually expedite these, no? So, mag-assign tayo ng mga tao, things like that, na pwedeng tumulong sa kanya. So, tingnan nyo. So, nakaplangga na lang siya. So, pinapakain dun sa machine. And then after a few seconds, meron nang lalabas kaagad-agad yung coconut husk at sineseparate naman niya yung shell. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, pupunta na siya sa left side. Ito na yung shell. Okay, so there's another guy who's actually handling the shell naman na nilalabas. So again, itong machine na to, we can carry it from one place to another place. So depende sa buying station natin kung isang co-op has 2 buying station, so pwede niyang schedule, no? So Monday to Wednesday nandun sa buying station 1, Thursday up until Saturday nandun naman siya sa buying station 2 nila. So pwede pong ganun ang setup natin itong hash. Of course, efficiency is always what we want, no? So ito naman, instead na sunugin natin yung shell para makuha lang natin yung meat, ito naman is another way. There's another technique wherein de-shelling naman siya. So every day, ang gagawin ngayon, yung shell lang, ipapakagat yan sa machine na yan, and then natatanggal ngayon yung shell itself. So, of course, we will have to make sure na trained yung taong gagawa nito. So, ganyan lang po siya. So, natatanggal yung shell. Okay? After that, na. So, that's basically shell. So, yan na yung ibibigay mo sa milling station. No? So, bahala na sila. No? Sa atin, ito na siya. So, tanggal na yung shell. So, that particular one, we can also have that. So, again, it's very compacto. pwede natin siyang dalhin kada end buying station, no, para doon naman sa shell. So pwede natin gawin yan. So again, that basically summarize the business solutions that we will be doing. If you are interested, I am very much happy to run through with you yung tinatawag na profit and loss, no. So again, ang pinaka-importante sa akin is that there is a commitment of 100,000 has. Make sure na meron tayong cooperative farmers na who are committed to supplying 100,000 has per day, no. Pangalawa is to make sure that the location, kasi the location, doon nagsisimula lahat, doon sa build-up design and everything. Yung machine na ilalagay noon, kasi as like I mentioned a while ago, pag rectangular yung itsura ng land, magiging rectangular din yung itsura ng build-up natin. Kapag square naman, mapapansin mo, strategically, medyo square din yung itsura ng ating build-up. So again, just imagine nyo, kailangan lang talaga natin ng vicinity map with the exact coordinates, no. So nakukuha to sa mga engineering firm, no. They'll survey yung area, and then they'll put up the exact coordinates, no, ng area na yon. And then yun po yung kailangan natin, so that doon naman sa side ni Econexus, when they set out the build-up design plus yung bill of material ng machineries, exact to the dimension na natin. Okay? So, isa po yan sa mga criteria natin. Again, once again, Mr. Tirso Martirez, salamat po sa pag-endorse nyo kay Mr. Ernie Abragan, the co-founder of Camarines Sur Multipurpose. To you, Madam CEO, Madam Miss Yudisa Rakadag, salamat po, and hoping to see you more in the future. Okay, so do you want any information about my company? You can call me or you can go to my website po. All right, bye-bye po and have a nice day.